I heard that. All right, so question. Which fandom do you find the most intriguing?
Which fandom?
Fandom. You know, like, people like to cosplay up as characters and shit, and, you know, like...
I like cosplay.
But, yeah, but, like, I don't know, like, when you see people do cosplay, is there a particular, like, fandom that you're, you know, that you're, like, better than others or whatever?
I like it when people dress up as eldritch horrors with lots of tentacles.
Like Azathoth or Cthulhu.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I was thinking more like, you know, whenever you see people dressed up like fucking, like, Jedis or, like, you know, Trekkies or fucking... Yeah, people like, you know, you might see...
You see shit like that all the time, though. I mean, I want to see somebody dressed up like something that my brain can't even conceive of without breaking. That's what I want to see. Where's that cosplay? Where's the cosplay that you look at it and it just instantly makes you go insane?
Yeah. The eldritch horrors of fucking cosplay.
Or in my case, extremely horny. But yeah, I don't know. I guess fandoms like
I don't know, like if you took the Star Wars fandom, those guys are such fucking neckbeards these days. I mean, I love Star Wars, but I mean, like,
it's Disney's fault.
Yeah, those guys are fucking dicks. And then Trekkies, I don't know, I have a soft spot in my heart for the
I do
for the
love
Trek
me
folks.
some Star Trek, actually.
Fucking D&D folks, fuck yeah.
D&D, fuck yes.
Oh, and then the
God.
fucking, of course you have your anime folks, your lovable little weebs that like to dress like their,
of course.
I love that, the little Demon Slayer characters and shit.
Yeah.
Man, there's like this fair in Norman, Oklahoma. It's the medieval fair, the largest outdoor free fair in North America.
So that's where the D&D nerds go then.
Well, that's where the D&D nerds go, but then there's like fucking like anime nerds and furries and juggalos and Jedi and shit walking around there. Yeah. So
That's
like
not medieval.
I know there's people with like swords and shields and there's like fucking robes and wizard hats. And then you turn around the corner and there's like fucking 5 furries, 2 juggalos and 6 Jedi fucking battling it out. Yeah. It's fucking it's out of this world. Seriously. So, you know, there's merchandise, you know, you can buy like drinking horns.
So they don't take like all the juggalos and the furries and like burn them at the stake or anything?
No! They just let them wander around there and there's
That's
like
not very medieval.
Yeah, there's furries buying corn dogs and like fucking what do you call those things? Like, oh, that's where I got that smelly oil.
Knowing furries, I can only imagine what they're doing with those corn dogs.
Well, and then, you know, they're
That's
not, I mean,
just wild.
I'm glad that they don't really make them adhere to like period appropriate attire. I mean, you know, what are they going to do to those poor juggalos? You know, like whoopeth, whoopeth. Those poor guys. And then, you know, and then the
Fill
furries.
my chalice with Fago, wench.
God. Oh shit. Yeah, furries, juggalos, and Jedi. Oh my.
I enjoy thine titteth spilling out from atop thy bodice.
Oh my god. All right, medieval juggalos are a thing now. Titteth.
Dude, you should go there in your Malashi and like challenge people to fucking.
I should just like
matches.
Have them try to push me out of the circle.
Yeah, because they have like strongmen and stuff, don't they?
Yeah. So I mean, like if they got like strongmen, I could just just push around the other strongmen. No, I'd probably get my ass kicked, but whatever.
Whatever. I mean, there were sumo wrestlers in medieval times, right?
Yeah. If you think about it this way, fucking there are furries, there are juggalos, there's Jedi, there's Star Trek. Why not sumo?
Why not?
Why not?
Let's do it. Let's go to the medieval fair and like start our own sumo bouts. You know what? You can go up against like a furry and knock their fucking their tail in the dirt, and it'll be funny because I know those fursuits are like hundreds of dollars, if not thousands.
Those poor guys.
And then go up against a juggalo.
Sword fighting.
Whoopeth his ass.
Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx. Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx, Sumo Punx.
Hi, my name is Sabrina.
And my name is Matt. And this is Sumo Punx.
I'm a big fan of big men.
Oh, sure.
And this Bonsuke is just bursting with fantasy potential.
Mitake.
You can almost hear the smacking sound of flesh on flesh.
Kakanage.
Who do you want to play with? 42 Makuuchi Rikshi to choose from.
Fantasy Sumo. And now, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Hey! We're back!
It's Sumo Punx up all night.
Sorry we were gone for so long. We had some shit to deal with.
Some serious shit. And it's still kind of in the works,
yeah.
but, you know.
You know, we're taking care of it. We're handling it. We're putting our fighting spirit towards taking care of our shit. But we do apologize we were gone without any explanation for, oh gosh, how long has it been now?
It's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. But we are back at it now. We have a basho coming up.
March 13th.
Yes, and we have a local event coming up the day right before then, don't we?
March the 12th.
Yeah, tell us all about that.
So it is an exhibition at Rollertown Brewery in Salina, Texas. That is March 12th. And that is between 2 and 5 p.m. That is the day before the basho starts. Technically, if you live in Texas, then, you know, the basho starts a little bit early, especially if you like to watch Makushita and Juryo. But Makuuchi usually comes on after midnight. So it's going to be 2 and 5 p.m. in Salina, Texas to come see us. And then, you know, you still have enough time to drive home and watch the basho. So it's going to be Shogeki Sumo from Houston, Mighty Eagle Sumo from San Antonio, Dark Circle from Austin, and Dallas Sumo Club, all flopping each other around, slapping each other's fat, butt cheeks just hanging out.
And celebrating the release of the new Japanese lager from the brewery called House of Warlords.
House of Warlords. So if you want to chug House of Warlords and watch us slap each other silly and throw each other around, come out to Salina, Texas.
There's going to be a lot of Texas sumo clubs there.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Is it going to be indoors or outdoors? Do you know?
I thought it was going to be outdoors, but I did hear that if the weather gets bad or something, then they're going to move it inside to where the brewery area is. And I think that it is supposed to get cold. So,
let's hope that nothing happens like what happened after the last tournament, where, what was it,
252 people in the JSA, and that's including Rikishi and coaches, and there were 252 fucking cases of COVID, including a whole lot of your favorite Makuuchi wrestlers.
Yeah, a whole lot of them. It's all Tochinoshi's fault. He's the typhoid Mary. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's, you know, whenever the Delta variant was on the decline, things started looking like, oh, well, shit, we could start going back to normal. And it was like, all right.
People were trying to be hopeful to get back to regular life, but I think they let their defenses down a little too soon, especially with Omicron being so transmissible.
So virulent. So anyway, it tore through everybody at Goedo's.
Everyone got that shit.
Yeah, Goedo's Danpatsuki had a whole lot of people, a whole lot of festivities, and a whole lot of cases. You know, newly promoted Matakayumi got it, and then Tochinoshin had it, and then spread it to everybody.
It's probably not his fault.
No, probably not. It's
just funny to blame him.
Yeah, poor guy.
Oh, and Shodai was talking about like being out of breath during practice. Like he
Yeah.
might have long COVID.
Poor guy. That sucks because he's always just kind of like a dour guy anyway. He's kind of an Eeyore.
Oh, I love Shodai.
You and your goth solidarity with Shodai. But, I'm sure that he's still kind of having a bit of phlegm and some tightness in his chest when he's trying to wrestle. But then again, at the same time, he always gets really down on himself. He's like, well, man, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he's just being a drama queen about it.
Well, I'm hoping he's just being a drama queen about it.
But that's something that people don't really think about a lot, and that's what I was thinking about when I heard that all of these wrestlers were contracting the virus. What is it? Something like, I don't know the exact numbers, but I want to say somewhere around 10 to 30% were the numbers that I had seen last that end up having symptoms for at least up to 12 weeks after they contracted.
That's a long ass time.
And that's going to be a lot of people sitting out from tournaments. That's going to be a lot of people whose performance is affected.
That's kind of what I'm like, I don't want to see that. I don't want it to affect those guys, but it is, and it's going to be...
It's going to be a very interesting tournament, let's just say that.
Definitely.
But one of the other ways to make sumo a little more interesting, not that it's not already interesting, but have a little more fun with it as a spectator, is by playing fantasy sumo. A lot of you might already be familiar with the concept of fantasy sports. Either you've played fantasy football or just watched the league or something like that. So it's kind of along the same lines, except way, way more easy.
Oh, yeah. Like, fantasy football is like... Man, I've played, like, Dungeons and Dragons games that are, like, way simpler than fantasy football.
Yeah.
And, I like RPGs. I'm a fucking nerd. But
we both are.
Yeah, fantasy sumo is so fucking simple. So you get to choose 7 rikishi from the different ranks, and you just add up their wins. And whoever has the most wins after the end of the tournament, that's the person that wins in the league.
So you get one person for each rank. The ranks include Yokozuna, Ozeki, Sekitori...
No, Sekiwaki.
Sekiwaki. Komusubi, Maegashira 1 through 5, Maegashira 6 through 11, and Maegashira 12 through 17. And that's one for each of those sections. So, for example, for Maegashira 1 through 5, you can only pick one person for that particular section.
Yeah, you pick your guys, you stick with them, you watch the tournament, and sometimes, like I was listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown because they have all of that math and all of those number crunching, and they really look into the statistics and the trends and all of that. I'm like, oh shit! And so I was like,
dude, they go over that Banzuke with like a fine-toothed comb.
They do.
They really do.
And that's kind of what prompted me to really want to start doing fantasy sumo. Was just like, man, maybe if I just keep listening to this, I'll fucking figure this out. I'll find my sweet spot with the picks, just listen to Grand Sumo Breakdown, crunch the numbers, let them do the heavy lifting, and then I'll pick my lottery numbers,
I'm not going to lie. I'm really bad at math, but sometimes I'm listening to their show and my eyes start to cross and I'm like, Maegashira, what now? But it's so interesting when you really get down into it and realize how these rikishi move up and down the ranks and how these decisions are made of which rank they're going to be in from tournament to tournament.
And what I really like is that Grand Sumo Breakdown has almost cracked the code on that.
Almost. Very close.
Very, very close. But I like to hear what they have to say because I feel like it gives me an edge.
And it did help us to make our own fantasy sumo picks, which we can go ahead and give you a little bit of a rundown right now of who we picked for our fantasy sumo. What do we want to call it?
Is it a
fantasy
league?
Sumo?
Is it a Banzuke?
Banzuke?
Something like that.
Yeah.
We play fantasy sumo with a couple folks from Mighty Eagle, a couple folks from Dark Circle, a couple folks from Dallas Sumo Club. I think Nicholas Ton's in there, isn't he? I can't remember.
I can't remember. It's been a while.
I think he is. I'll have to look at who all's in that chat.
I've
But
slept
yeah,
a few times since then.
it's super fucking fun.
So, for the first rank, Yokozuna, I picked Terunofuji.
Guess who I picked for Yokozuna?
Who did you pick?
Terunofuji.
Oh my god!
So,
Well, why did you pick Terunofuji?
well, he's the only Yokozuna there is.
Oh my god! That's why I picked Terunofuji too.
All right, so for Yokozuna, we both got Terunofuji. Okay, now Ozeki. So this one got a little contentious. Takakeisho, poor guy, he had pulled out of the last one, so he is Karoban. And Shodai, I heard people refer to his last performance as floppy.
Floppy?
Floppy. There's sometimes
He's
when
not a puppy. Wait, he might
is a
actually be a puppy.
But he was a little floppy, and I've seen Shodai kick ass. I mean, he's a fucking Ozeki, and he's defended his
he's
Ozeki.
Ozeki for a reason.
And has been Ozeki for this long for a reason. Even though I know a lot of people are like, he's not doing Ozeki Sumo. He's still stayed Ozeki.
He's still Ozeki.
No matter how he's gaming the system, he's gaming it right. Anyway, so Shodai, hopefully doesn't have the long COVID, poor guy. And I mean that in concern for him, not my fantasy pick, but...
Is that who you picked?
No, I picked Mataki Yumi. But Mataki Yumi also got fucking...
You spend all this time.
Hey, I'm a Shodai defender. That's what I do.
Okay, why did you pick Mataki Yumi?
I picked Mataki Yumi even because he was newly promoted to Ozeki, and I could tell he was riding this wave, but then I found out he got COVID, and I'm like, oh, poor guy. But when he started training, he was feeling a little like kind of, I don't know, not at his best, and he lost 14 pounds.
Oh, God.
Yeah, or 7 kilos, they said. And I'm like, oh, poor dude. So what I'm thinking is he just needs to kind of find his groove. He's just going to, get back into that wave, that momentum that he was in whenever he got newly promoted. He's going to fucking shake it off, take a deep breath. He's going to get in there and just start kicking ass and taking names.
Well, I hope my Ozeki pick does the same thing, because if you couldn't already guess, actually did choose Shodai because
it's her boyfriend.
Goth solidarity. And he didn't do so well in the last Basho, but he does have a trend of doing really well after doing really bad.
Yeah, when he's Karoban, he comes back with a vengeance.
That is the trend, yes. But he did catch COVID as well, and he may have long COVID, or he may still be experiencing symptoms of it when the tournament starts. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see. And a lot of the wrestlers are going to be affected by this.
Yeah.
So it's not just going to be Shodai. It's going to be like...
a lot of them.
like half of them up there.
Yeah, poor guys. And so for Sekiwaki, I picked Abi. So he was newly promoted too. And ever since
I kind of expected that.
Yes. Ever since he got in trouble and had to sit out, whenever he came back, when he was in Makushita, he was just kicked ass. He flopped everyone's meat in Makushita. And then when he got to Juryo, he did the same shit. Knocked everyone's dick in the dirt in Juryo. And then just climbed Makuuchi. It's just like, he's on fire. And I just love that. He's just a fucking goddamn,
It was like he was King Kong and the Bonzuke was the Empire State Building.
Exactly. Swatting at the airplanes of all the rank and filers,
Yeah. Well, I also chose Abi for pretty much the same reason. You can't not choose Abi. He's got arms like a fucking orangutan, and he doesn't give a shit about anything. So he's gonna fight
winning.
like hell to get to the top.
Yeah. So two Jun Yusho consecutively. Two consecutive Jun Yusho, and motherfucker could give Terunofuji a run for his money. Even though he lost, I was sitting there biting my nails. I was like, holy shit. The Abi versus Teru fucking fights were phenomenal, and
yes.
I gotta see more of that shit.
Yes, absolutely.
And then Komusubi. All right.
Komusubi.
I picked Haas.
Hoshoryu.
Hoshoryu. Yeah, so fucking Haas.
Oh, wait. Hoshoryu.
All right, Haas has been looking good. Haas has been looking real good. And he's just, he's fucking agile as hell. And he's always throwing people around. I really love his throw-centric style. It's really fucking cool. And I just feel like he's really growing into himself, really growing into his style. His movements are getting a little bit more fluid. He's just maturing as a Rikishi, I think.
I actually ended up choosing Takanosho, mostly because I didn't want to pick the same person as Matt.
But Takanosho is fucking tough.
Well, yeah, and I will preface this by saying, again, that I am bad at math, but from what I saw, it looked like they have pretty similar records, Takanosho and Hoshoryu. And as far as I can tell, he wasn't one of the ones who caught COVID, although I may be wrong on that as well. I'm not sure.
And I didn't hear his name. Hoshoryu did, though.
Yeah, Hoshoryu definitely did, and I'm hoping that that really helps my guy, Takanosho.
Hater.
Whatever, I'm going to win this shit.
Okay, so for Maegashira 1 through 5, I have Dai A Show. Fucking ever since I saw him win, what was that, January 2021 Basho? Ever since he won that tournament, I've always just been like, holy shit, this guy's fucking, he's got something. And he makes the best battle faces, like those best mid-fight, just, I'm putting everything I got into slapping the shit out of you. And just, I love that shit. Dai A Show is fucking great. So I know that he got demoted, but he was in the Senyaku ranks, you know? So as a Maegashira 1 through 5 pick, to me, I think he's solid. I don't know. I've just been rooting for him ever since. And as long as he keeps making those battle faces, I'm going to be on his side.
For my Maegashira 1 through 5 pick, I chose Ura. Who has also apparently caught COVID recently, but has been kicking all of the ass lately. So I have confidence in him that if he's not permanently damaged from the virus, he can continue to kick ass. He's the Maegashira Princess of Power. He has to.
Maegashira Princess of Power. That's a Photoshop. You got to.
We're doing that.
Yeah.
I'm totally gonna Photoshop that now.
But Ura is fucking solid. You know, it's like Maegashira 1 is
you.
like his career fucking high. You know, so he's going into uncharted territory, and I've always been rooting for that little roly-poly guy. You know, he just kind of bounces around everywhere. He's just all about some cheeseburgers and some rap music.
I just love his pink Mawashi.
I do too. Yeah, I have to say, like, if we're just talking about, you know, if we were playing favorites here, just picking our favorites, it's Ura.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
Maegashira 6 through 11.
Okay, my Maegashira 6 through 11 is Takayasu. So he got the rank freeze from last time, and I know he really hasn't been doing as well as he used to, and I blame that on him not doing his, like, pre-bout ritual power shrug anymore. So back when he was doing that, he was Ozeki, you know, that kind of like flex he does. And then when he stopped doing that, he fell down in the ranks. But I think that since he had to sit out the last tournament because of COVID, I think he might have gotten a good rest. I think maybe he was able to heal a little bit, you know, maybe kind of take it easy and not have to get down to crunch time with training and feel so stressed out, you know, since he had to sit out. He was probably just dicking around the stable, you know, sitting around in his Umbro, scratching his balls. Fucking just, you know, it's like, oh yeah. Oh wait, he's married though, isn't he?
He could scratch his balls and be married at the same time.
Exactly. So wherever he was, either at the stable or he was at home, scratching his balls, having a good time. I think he had a good enough time to heal. I think he's gonna kick ass. I think we might see a little bit of that old Takayasu, and I'm really glad that they froze his rank.
For Maegashira 6 through 11, I actually decided to choose Sadanomi because it looked like he's actually been fighting his way up the ranks for the last several basho. So he's been getting real Madanomi and letting that, you know, fuel his charge up the Bansuke.
Madanaumi.
Gladanomi.
Sadanoumi. All right, so for my Maegashira 12 through 17, I have Chiyomaru, Mr. Sumo himself. I was always wondering why, because I always heard that on Sumo Mainichi. They're always calling him Mr. Sumo. I don't know, I just asked him. I was like, It's like, how did you guys start calling him Mr. Sumo? How did you, they were like, oh yeah, we made that up. It's just because we just felt like he epitomizes, sumo itself, and he's kind of like representative of this time in our life when we first started getting into sumo. And I'm like, oh, well, hell yeah. And so I don't know, that after having that conversation with him, I was like, you know what? I'm fucking picking Chiyomaru. So there he is, my final pick, and he's just, he's got like those cherubic cheeks, he's just got that cute little smile. He's just but he'll slap the shit out of you, and he's got those fucking acorn cracking butt cheeks. Dude's got power.
For my Maegashira 12 through 17, I chose Chiyonokuni for a pretty similar reason, because I thought he was cute. So yes, very similar to the reason why you chose yours.
That checks out. That's pretty much why I chose Chiyomaru. He's cute.
Yeah, I thought he was cute. I don't know. At this point in building my fantasy Banzuke, I kind of was just... I had looked at too many numbers, and my eyes were starting to cross again. So I was like, "Oh, that one's cute. Let's slap him on there."
Well, those are our fantasy picks, and it's super easy. All you have to do is, if you could find 1, 2, 3 other people, or a whole room full of people, you can pretty much, have your picks, and then you just add the numbers up at the end of the tournament. Way easy. So,
or get somebody else to do it for you if you're bad at math.
Yeah. And
like
then
me.
If you want to, we could have our own, Sumo Punx mini fantasy sumo league. So if you want to hit us up on Twitter at Punk Sumo, if you want to hit us up on Instagram at Sumo Punx, or find us on the Butt Book, or send us an email, sumopunx@gmail.com, of your sumo picks. We might have a contest. We might have a giveaway. We might just send you pictures of our butt. Anyway.
Or cloacas. Don't forget the cloacas.
I forgot about the cloacas.
You never forget about the cloacas.
Yeah. But if you wanted to fucking, you want to get into some senseless competition with a couple of people with microphones that love to talk shit, then bring it on.
Good luck. While fantasy sumo is just one aspect of the wide world of sumo fandom, the enthusiasm that people have for the sport can manifest in a lot of interesting ways. We've just begun scratching the surface on this topic ourselves, but we still wanted to share some of the things that we have experienced or seen in the sumo fandom.
So in the pros, they have Koenkai, and Koenkai are sponsorship groups that financially support individual stables and wrestlers. Stables that have several Koenkai tend to be more successful with recruiting new talent. They pay for Kesho Mawashi, and they even help throw down on elder stock or kabu. So whenever they start getting closer to retirement, if they had a pretty successful career, they'd be like, hey, Koenkai. So these are usually wealthy elites that just really wanted to give back to a sport that, they had a lot of love for as kids. They are the bourgeoisie of the sumo fandom. Speaking of the bourgeoisie of the sumo fandom, there are sugar daddies and sugar mamas.
Like actual sumo sugar daddies?
Yeah, sumo sugar daddies. They're called Tanimachi, and they, regularly treat wrestlers to expensive dinners and give them lavish gifts and provide significant financial support. And Tanimachi is actually the name of a street in Osaka where a doctor gave them free medical care for wrestlers and gave them money.
So we're not talking about when you and I use the term sugar daddy. These wrestlers aren't giving them like happy endings or anything.
Little sugar. I don't know. They might. I mean, who knows? I mean, what if you had like an older...
I don't think I want to accuse anyone of getting up to activities like that. But it's nice that they have, these people
I was going to be
them.
really G-rated about it. I was going to say, I'm sure there's probably some old grandma that took a wrestler out to dinner. It's like, give me a kiss on the cheek,
Yeah, okay.
I could see something like that. That's a little bit of sugar.
Sure, but
not in the
what
way
you or I would...
Oh, sure, try to put this on me.
You want me to be your sugar mama?
Maybe.
Okay.
But really, I really wanted to focus more on the regular folks fandom. The fandom of the people's sumo fandom.
The people's sumo fandom.
So there are Western style fan clubs, kind of like Patreon. You could go online. You have different price structures, different tiers, and you'll get different rewards for whatever you pay. Probably like, those handprint Tagata an autograph picture, or maybe actually get to meet the wrestler and be in the bonsai picture when they win the Emperor's Cup.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's, at the pro level, but there are also different ways of showing that sumo enthusiasm on the scholastic and the collegiate level. And this is a whole world that I just thought was totally badass. I'm like, holy shit, why don't we have Oendan?
Oendan. Yes, we have become obsessed with Oendan recently. We admit we don't know everything about it yet. We just started researching this, but essentially, these are cheer squads, typically from universities and high schools. During amateur sumo tournaments, they will cheer on the members of their own schools.
Oh, and then if you see those videos of the All Japan Sumo Championships, you'll see those Oendan guys. They're usually dressed really smart. They have like these crisp uniforms and they wear fucking Oxfords and shit. But you could see like a whole group of these dudes in uniforms chanting, waving banners, probably chugging like cheap sake, shochu, or what is that they're drinking these days? Strong Zero. That's a pretty hefty beverage right there. But apparently you can take booze into the Kokugikan, and on the second story up there you have all kinds of like you have tourists and foreigners and fucking all of the hardcore fans all getting fucking rowdy.
Yeah, they have their banners and their signs, and they'll be standing or sitting probably in the back rows of the Kokugikan during like the All Japan Sumo Championship, which is a pretty big deal because this is where the wrestlers can get a huge bump up.
Yeah, so whenever you join the pros, you'll have to start down at the bottom of the ranking. If you win the All Japan Sumo Championships, you could become a Makushita Tsukadashi and start at the Makushita level instead of having to go to, Jonokuchi and Jonidan, all that.
That's super awesome that they have that opportunity, really. Back to Oendan. Like Matt said, they typically will wear formal attire, often including accessories such as hachimaki, which are the headbands, and they also often have armbands. Although in recent times, the girls will sometimes also wear Western-style cheerleading uniforms. At Hokkaido University, commonly referred to as Hokudai, in Sapporo, they have a unique Oendan where all the first year and second year members will wear robes made out of rags, very tattered,
just tattered rags. They even carry banners like on poles that are just tattered rags, and they grow their hair out, they grow beards, and they're dirty and they're stinky and
an oogle, basically.
Yeah, they're cheer oogles.
They're cheer oogles. Exactly. So the upperclassmen will wear the more formal attire, while the lowerclassmen will wear the rags and whatnot. At Tokyo University of Agriculture, their Oendan is also pretty unique in that they use daikon radishes as props.
Oh, fuck yeah. They have like this dance. It's called the daikon odori. And so they have these synchronized dance moves, and they just have these giant fucking daikon radishes just fucking dancing around with them.
And what was interesting about the video that we watched of them as well was that they had kind of like a traditional, what we would consider a traditional marching band playing along as well.
Yeah.
So typically with the Oendan, you'll have someone playing taiko drums, you'll have a lot of call and response, marching around, synchronized movements, things of that nature.
Kind of like they have like these super sentai poses that they'll kind of get into. So they're calling, like one guy will start calling something and then the group will respond with their slogans and they'll get into different poses with each different syllable.
And apparently another thing they do is they'll yell insults at the other Oendans.
That one was, we saw that one where they were just standing across from each other.
It was just like two big groups like staring each other down,
just
and they were like
screaming
stuff at each other, but like very rhythmically and like
very
organized.
Rhythmic, orderly screaming.
Exactly.
That was the best kind of insulting I've seen.
It was so cool.
Another aspect of sumo fandom that is pervasive in all fandoms is merchandise.
Ooh.
Merchandise.
Of course.
Merchandise. So you could get fucking Rikishi keychains and Rikishi t-shirts. You could get all kinds of
standard stuff.
Yeah, if you want to get a goddamn refrigerator magnet, then
Are you trying to imply that there should be sumo-themed refrigerators?
I mean...
Is there something that refrigerators and sumo wrestlers have in common?
I mean, I'd have a Tochinoshin fridge, you know?
Is it that they're about the same size and you put a lot of food into them?
I mean, if the shoe fits.
I'd have an Ichinojo fridge.
I have all these frozen pizzas. Throw it in the Ichinojo. Okay, that they got me there. I would actually buy a Rikishi fridge.
Oh, fuck yeah, me too.
The JSA sometimes has contests where they give away very unique items, like we have discussed in previous episodes.
You mean the Endo butt pillow?
The Endo butt pillow. Apparently it's just a double-sided Endo pillow, but everyone focused on the butt. I still maintain it's an Endo butt pillow.
It's an Endo butt pillow.
So, since we live in the U.S. and... you know, we don't have a direct connection to Japan, and we do not speak very much Japanese at all. It's kind of difficult to get some keen, you know, sumo merch. But there are two sources that I know of personally. I'm sure there might be some others, and you might know someone personally there. But the ones that I know of are...
Big Sumo Fan.
And... the Sumo Soul.
Sumo Soul, that's right. No, I know Big Sumo Fan better because that's where I got your Goombay for Christmas.
I love that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever watch the Keikos for Dallas Sumo Club, we use that Goombay a lot.
Yeah, Big Sumo Fan's pretty cool. They have a lot of very interesting and unique stuff. Even though they're based in the U.S., they import everything.
Yeah.
So you can get some really interesting stuff from Big Sumo Fan that I've found, like the, what are those things called? The big flags?
Oh, the Nobori?
The Nobori, yes. So those are the big flags that have the Rikishi names on them that fly outside of the Kokuki-kan during every tournament. And you can get one that actually was, like, at a tournament for like thousands of dollars,
like $3,500.
right? Or you can get like smaller.
Yeah, I want
knockoffs.
the little the desk banners. Actually,
yes,
that's the thing that I really want to buy the most next, as far as, you know, sumo fandom merch goes. I want to put those on my work desk. Damn it!
And of course, you can get all of the Banzuke for each tournament. You can get the regular one and the picture Banzuke, which we had gotten one of each of those from the last...
July 2021.
Yeah, the last one that...
Hakuho.
Was that the last one
Was that
Hakuho was in?
Yeah, it
I know
was.
it was the one where Terno Fuji was crowned Yokozuna.
He was
I don't know what the
crowned.
term is.
Promoted.
Promoted,
yes.
yes.
Yokozuna. It makes it sound all Game of Thrones-ish.
I know, right?
I am Shodai. I am. Yeah, they all. Oh, the star charts. Those are. They show like the Rikishi wins and loss records, but you know, since they use white dots and black dots, it kind of looks like, you know, constellations. I thought it was pretty cool.
You can definitely get those from Big Sumo Fan as well. You can also get. Oh, you can get those masks.
Oh my god.
Those rubber masks of like Hakuho and Tochinoshin and Kisano Sato.
Fucking Endo. Even how did Endo get a butt pillow and a mask?
You can put on the Endo mask and then lay your head on the Endo butt pillow.
I saw pictures that people were posting of those Tochinoshin masks. Those things are wily looking.
They're a little bit frightening, I've got to say.
The Hakuho one, I mean, that one actually kind of resembles Hakuho, but it still kind of looks at you a little kind of mean.
Yeah, like you don't want to piss it off.
Yeah, don't piss off the Hakuho mask. Yeah, send your kids to trick or treat and that shit. You'll be taking home all the candy. So the other merch slinger that I know of in the English-speaking sumo world is the Sumo Soul, and this guy is based in Japan, and it takes a little bit longer for stuff to arrive from Japan to the US. I mean, it's like a whole fucking ocean away, you know. He's really cool. He talks to you directly, you know, kind of runs things by you. I've always had really good experiences with him. Mm-hmm. He also posts lots of videos to Instagram and Facebook, so they're like individual bouts, you know, just like little bites. So whenever I get up in the morning, like whenever I go poop, if there's like any like videos that I need to see of the tournament the night before, right then I could just watch them while I'm pooping. So yeah, Sumo Soul definitely has my poop entertainment covered. So, you know, they have a lot of the trading cards, the Banzukes, you know, a lot of the official JSA merch. Oh, he also has that Binzuke.
The sumo hair grease.
Sumo hair grease. I want to get some of that hair grease because I got flyaways. I look wild.
Does the Big Sumo Fan website have the hair grease?
I haven't seen it on Big Sumo Fan, but the Sumo Soul has it. Their merchandise is very similar. Sumo Soul is in Japan. Big Sumo Fan is in the US. Big Sumo Fan has like really weird shit too, like children's books and those Halloween masks, you know. And the Sumo Soul has like, you know, the Benzuke, and they post a lot of videos. It's kind of like, you know, they're just like...
They're both just doing their own thing.
Yeah. And I've bought stuff from them both. I think it's really fucking cool. And, you know, what I really would like is there to be like a creative surge in like American sumo merch, you know, because a lot of sumo clubs have been making like t-shirts and stuff, but what the fuck? How come I can't get a butt pillow? You know, shit.
You want me to make a butt pillow of your butt?
Yeah, of my butt, Jared's butt, Jonathan's butt, Corey's butt, you know. Yeah, everyone in the Dallas Sumo Club needs to have a butt pillow.
I don't know about that.
Why? What's wrong with my butt?
Nothing's wrong with your butt. I'm just thinking like maybe not all the guys would be into that. Also, how much will it cost to print everyone's butt on fabric and make pillows out of it? Might be cost prohibitive. Although I have been planning on making Dallas Sumo Club Hachimaki.
Oh, fuck yes.
That is in the works currently, so keep an eye out for that.
You know, that whole Oendon thing just got me thinking, you know, just like getting that much into something, you know. I would really like to see how creative people could get with that kind of fandom, you know, in the States. I could tell that sumo is about to like explode. It's gonna get all all over the place. I'm hoping anyway.
Well, CNN was gonna be
CBS.
CBS. That's what it is. CBS was gonna be covering the World Games in Birmingham, Alabama.
And I'm really hoping that a lot of people just go apeshit for sumo.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really blowing up a lot here soon. We've definitely gotten so much more enthusiastic about it here in Texas. There are so many new sumo clubs popping up. And you know what? Maybe one day I will start an Oendon for the Dallas Sumo Club.
Hell
Maybe
yeah.
I can have my own produce that I wave around.
Yeah, make your own little uniform and hat in Oxford. Sling around some produce.
Some fucking eggplants or something. Who knows?
I am all for it. I'm just super excited to see people get into sumo, and I really am super excited to see what kind of wild and creative shit people could come up with, because I am here for it.
Yeah. Normally, this would be the part of the episode where we do our music review. However, we've decided recently to change things up a little bit. It kind of has a little bit to do with some other things going on in our life recently. But also, we just kind of feel like we want to be able to focus on both the musical stuff and the sumo stuff individually.
Yeah, so I'm probably just going to hijack the Sumo Punx YouTube channel and spam my asinine musical opinions around anyway, so...
Right, but basically what we're kind of throwing around the idea of right now is starting to make music review videos.
Yeah.
So instead of hearing the music reviews at the end of the episodes, keep an eye out for those if you are still interested in hearing our music reviews. We also have a tournament coming up. So the next episode, we'll get balls deep in tournament coverage.
Balls deep in the boss show.
Yes. Which probably you're going to hear every sumo podcast doing, but definitely listen to ours because...
We talk about balls.
Because balls deep, yes.
But, you know, listen to everybody. And
yeah, we all work so hard on this stuff.
Seriously. I mean, like, you know, you got the big dogs, you got Grand Sumo Breakdown, you got Sumo Kaboom. And then I started listening to Ohio Sumo's podcast.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about that today.
So, yes, there is there is enough room in the
Those
podcast
guys have
sphere.
sexy voices.
They do have sexy voices, especially that Darius. Jacob Book, too, those guys. Man, I like their podcast. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's our show for
Yeah.
this time. If you wanted to check us out on the Interbutts, we are at Instagram at Sumo Punx. Mm-hmm. We are on the Butt Book, Facebook. And we are also on Twitter at Punx Sumo.
Yes. And remember, Punx is spelled with an X.
For extra sex.
That's our show. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.